Starting at number 10, we have Choir Boys. Now you might be thinking, wait, how is an episode about choir practice dark? Well, let me tell you. This episode is basically 11 minutes of Squidward getting brutally tortured, and it's played off as comedy. The episode starts with Squidward trying to join a fancy choir group, which is like his biggest dream. But SpongeBob keeps accidentally ruining everything. And I mean everything. He gets Squidward stung by jellyfish so badly that his face swells up like a balloon. He causes Squidward to fall into a trash compactor. He literally sets Squidward on fire at one point. But here's what makes it dark. Squidward is begging SpongeBob to leave him alone. He's in genuine pain. He's crying and screaming. And SpongeBob just keeps smiling and causing more damage, completely oblivious to the suffering he's causing. By the end, Squidward has been physically destroyed so many times that he can't even audition for the choir. The dark part isn't just the violence, it's that we're supposed to laugh at someone's dreams being crushed while they're in physical agony. That's pretty messed up when you think about it. Coming in at number 9, we have Are You Happy Now? And oh boy, this episode deals with something way too heavy for a kid's show: depression. Like actual clinical depression. The episode starts with Squidward realizing he has no happy memories. And this sends him into a downward spiral that gets darker and darker. We see Squidward lying in bed for days, unable to get up. He stops taking care of himself. His house becomes a mess. He sits in the dark doing nothing. And the most disturbing part? There's a scene where Squidward is sitting in a dark room and the camera slowly zooms in on his face while creepy music plays. He looks absolutely dead inside. SpongeBob and the others try to cheer him up, but nothing works. Squidward has completely given up on life. At one point, he literally says, "I have no reason to get out of bed in the morning." That's not just sadness, that's depression. And for a kid's show to depict it this realistically is honestly kind of shocking. The episode tries to end on a lighter note, but the damage is done. We've already seen Squidward in the depths of despair, and it's genuinely uncomfortable to watch. At number 8, let's talk about Demolition Doofus. This episode is controversial for a very specific reason. Mrs. Puff literally tries to murder SpongeBob. Not scare him, not hurt him a little. She actively attempts to kill him, and it's treated as justified. The episode starts with SpongeBob causing yet another boating accident, but this time it's so bad that Mrs. Puff's inflate sack gets completely destroyed. She has to get surgery, and afterwards, she can't puff up anymore. Her entire identity as a pufferfish is gone, and this breaks her mentally. She becomes completely unhinged. Her eyes go dark and soulless. She starts smiling this creepy, dead smile. And then she enters SpongeBob into demolition derbies, monster truck rallies, and other death matches, hoping he'll get killed. She literally sits in the stands watching and praying for his death. There's even a scene where she fantasizes about SpongeBob being crushed, and she's smiling and laughing about it. This woman has completely snapped. And the darkest part? The episode kind of sides with her, like it presents her wanting to murder her student as an understandable reaction. That's insane. A teacher trying to kill a student because of an accident is beyond dark. It's disturbing. And the fact that this aired on Nickelodeon is wild. Coming in at number 7, we have The Splinter. And this episode is dark in a completely different way. It's pure body horror. The entire episode is just 11 minutes of watching SpongeBob's body deteriorate in the most disgusting way possible. SpongeBob gets a splinter in his thumb, and instead of just removing it, he tries to hide it from Mr. Krabs. And then it gets infected. And I mean horrifically infected. The splinter area starts swelling up, turning green and purple. Pus starts oozing out. The infection spreads up his entire arm, but it gets worse. There are extreme close-up shots of the infected area that are genuinely nauseating. We see the pus bubbling and festering. We see SpongeBob in actual pain, screaming and crying. At one point, the infection is so bad that when someone touches it, it explodes everywhere in this fountain of green goo. And the worst part? Patrick tries to help by hammering the splinter deeper into SpongeBob's body. We literally watch this piece of wood getting driven further into his flesh while SpongeBob screams in agony. This isn't cartoon violence, this is body horror that wouldn't be out of place in a horror movie. The imagery in this episode is so gross that even adults find it hard to watch. Why they thought this was appropriate for kids is beyond me. At number 6, we need to discuss One Course Meal. This episode is widely considered one of the absolute worst SpongeBob episodes ever made, and it's because of how unbelievably dark the subject matter is. Remember earlier when I mentioned it? Well, now we're going deep. The episode starts with Plankton trying to steal the formula, and Mr. Krabs discovers that Plankton has a crippling fear of whales. So what does Mr. Krabs do? He decides to psychologically torture Plankton by dressing up as his daughter Pearl and terrorizing him. But this isn't just a one-time prank. Mr. Krabs does this repeatedly, day after day after day. He stalks Plankton. He appears in his nightmares. He makes it so Plankton can't sleep, can't eat, can't function. Plankton starts having a complete mental breakdown. He's shaking, crying, having panic attacks, and then it happens. Plankton becomes so mentally destroyed that he goes to the middle of the road and lays down, waiting for a car to run him over. He straight up tries to end his own life because the psychological torture has become too much to bear. And Mr. Krabs? He's in his office celebrating. He's laughing and dancing, knowing that he's driven someone to attempt suicide. And when SpongeBob finds out and confronts him, Mr. Krabs shows zero remorse. This episode depicts psychological warfare, trauma, and suicidal ideation in a kids' show. And it's not even handled sensitively. It's played for laughs. That's beyond dark. That's genuinely disturbing content that should never have been made. Halfway through our list at number 5, we have Ink Lemonade. This is a newer episode, and it's dark for reasons that are both gross and psychologically disturbing. The episode focuses on Patrick discovering that Squidward's ink can be used to make lemonade that people actually like. So what does Patrick do? He starts intentionally scaring and traumatizing Squidward to make him squirt ink out of fear. And this isn't just jump scares. Patrick puts Squidward through legitimately terrifying scenarios. He makes Squidward think he's going to die multiple times. But here's what makes it really dark. Squidward's ink is basically a bodily fluid. It comes out when he's scared or stressed, so Patrick is essentially torturing Squidward and harvesting his bodily fluids to sell for profit. That's really messed up when you think about it. And it gets worse. The more Patrick scares Squidward, the more traumatized Squidward becomes. By the end of the episode, Squidward is a shaking, crying mess who flinches at every little sound. He's been given legitimate PTSD from this experience. And the worst part? Patrick faces no consequences. In fact, his lemonade business is successful. So the episode basically says, torture is okay if it makes you money. What kind of message is that for kids? At number 4, we have Squid's Visit. This episode is psychological horror disguised as a comedy episode. SpongeBob becomes obsessed with getting Squidward to visit his house, but Squidward refuses. So SpongeBob does something absolutely unhinged. He breaks into Squidward's house and steals everything. But he doesn't just steal random stuff. He recreates Squidward's entire house inside his own house. Every piece of furniture, every decoration, every personal item. SpongeBob has stolen it all and arranged it exactly how Squidward had it. This is literally what serial killers do in movies. When Squidward finally comes over, because he has no furniture left, he walks in and has a complete psychological breakdown. He's in SpongeBob's house, but it looks exactly like his house. He starts questioning reality. Is he in his house? Is he in SpongeBob's house? He can't tell anymore. And SpongeBob is just smiling the whole time, completely unaware that what he's done is insane. He's violated Squidward's privacy, stolen his belongings, and created this horrifying replica of his life. This isn't cute or funny, it's the behavior of a stalker. The episode plays it for laughs, but if you actually think about what's happening, it's genuinely disturbing. SpongeBob has crossed from annoying neighbor into legitimate threat territory. Coming in at number 3, we have The Card. Now this episode might not seem dark at first, but stick with me. It's actually about gaslighting and psychological manipulation. Patrick gets a rare trading card, and SpongeBob spends the entire episode trying to protect it because Patrick is too dumb to take care of it. But here's the thing, every time SpongeBob tries to save the card, something happens that should destroy it, but doesn't. The card goes through fire, gets soaked in water, gets eaten by a sea monster, but it always comes out perfectly fine, and SpongeBob slowly starts losing his mind. The dark part is watching SpongeBob's sanity deteriorate in real time. He becomes more and more paranoid, more desperate, more unhinged. He stops sleeping, he stops eating. His only focus is protecting this card that doesn't actually need protection. And at the end, when Patrick casually reveals he's been completely aware of how durable the card is the whole time, it means Patrick has been watching SpongeBob suffer and doing nothing about it. He let his best friend have a mental breakdown for his own amusement. That's psychological torture. Patrick gaslighted SpongeBob into questioning reality and driving himself insane. And it's played as a joke, but watching someone lose their mind while their friend does nothing is actually really disturbing. At number 2, we have I Was a Teenage Gary. This episode is body horror at its finest. SpongeBob accidentally gets injected with snail plasma and slowly starts transforming into a snail, and the transformation is horrifying. We see SpongeBob's body changing in disturbing ways. His eyes move to stalks. His nose extends into a snail face. His body shrinks and mutates. And the worst part? He's conscious during all of it. He can feel himself changing. He can feel his humanity slipping away. There are scenes where SpongeBob is trying to talk, but only snail sounds come out. He's trapped in this body that isn't his, unable to communicate, unable to ask for help. His mind is still human, but his body is becoming something else. That's nightmare fuel. And then it happens to Squidward too. We watch both of them transform into these snail creatures, losing their identities, losing themselves. The episode ends with them as snails, and while it gets reversed, we've still watched two characters go through a genuinely traumatic body horror experience. The transformation scenes are so disturbing that they wouldn't be out of place in a horror movie. The idea of losing your humanity and becoming something else while still being conscious is one of the most terrifying concepts in horror, and they put it in a kids' show. But before we get to number 1, let me give a quick honorable mention to Love a Patty. This episode is dark because it depicts SpongeBob in a genuinely unhealthy mental state. He falls in love with a Krabby Patty, like romantically in love with food, and refuses to let it go even as it rots and becomes disgusting. We watch this patty decay over days. It turns green, it grows mold, flies swarm around it, it starts oozing, and SpongeBob keeps carrying it around, talking to it, kissing it. This is a clear depiction of mental illness, possibly a form of psychosis or delusion. His friends try to help him, but he violently refuses. He chooses this rotting piece of food over his friendships, over his health, over basic hygiene, and the episode shows this decomposing patty in such graphic detail that it's genuinely disgusting to look at. Okay, now for the number 1 darkest SpongeBob episode that was way too dark for kids, the Nasty Patty. This episode is dark on so many levels that it's honestly shocking it ever aired. The episode starts with a health inspector coming to the Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob treat him to a feast, but then they see on the news that there's a fake health inspector going around getting free food, so they decide to get revenge. They make the most disgusting burger possible. They put volcano sauce on it, stick it in the toilet, rub it with Mr. Krabs' sweaty gym socks, and probably commit about 50 health code violations. They call it the Nasty Patty and give it to the inspector to make him sick. But then the health inspector starts choking. A fly went in his mouth and he's dying right in front of them. And Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob are in the kitchen laughing at his pain, not knowing he's actually dying. They think it's funny. They think their prank is working perfectly. And then he collapses, dead, or so they think. And this is where the episode becomes genuinely dark, because Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob think they've murdered someone, and their response is to hide the body. We watch them panic about having killed a man. We see them dragging what they think is a corpse around. They're trying to figure out where to bury the body so nobody finds out about their crime. This is a murder cover-up happening in a kids' show, and it gets darker. When the cops show up, Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob have to pretend everything is fine while they're hiding what they believe is a dead body in various places. There's this whole sequence of them sneaking the body around, and it's played for suspense like a thriller movie. But here's the absolute darkest part. It turns out the health inspector isn't dead. He's just unconscious, which means when Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob bury him in the ground, they're burying him alive. They literally attempt to bury someone alive to cover up what they think is a murder. Think about that. The main characters of this kid's show, characters that children look up to, commit what they believe is manslaughter, attempt to cover it up, and then bury someone alive. And it's all played for laughs. Even when everything gets resolved at the end and the health inspector wakes up, the damage is done. We've watched Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob be willing to dispose of a body and commit further crimes to avoid consequences. We've seen them prioritize their own safety over doing the right thing. This episode deals with death, guilt, crime, and moral corruption in a way that's way too mature for the target audience. Kids watching this are seeing beloved characters do genuinely evil things. There's no lesson learned, there's no redemption, just two characters getting away with attempted murder and body disposal because they got lucky. And the creepiest part? The way they animate the dead health inspector is genuinely unsettling. His lifeless eyes, his limp body being dragged around, it's shot like a horror movie. The tone is dark, the music is ominous, and there's this sense of dread throughout the whole episode. The Nasty Patty is the perfect example of SpongeBob going way too dark. It's not just inappropriate, it's genuinely disturbing content that deals with heavy themes in a way that's completely unsuitable for children. So yeah, those are 10 SpongeBob episodes that were way too dark for kids. From psychological torture to body horror to literal murder cover-ups, these episodes really make you wonder what the writers were thinking. SpongeBob is supposed to be a fun, lighthearted show, but sometimes it goes to places that are genuinely disturbing. Let me know in the comments which episode you think was the darkest, or if there are any other episodes you think should have made this list. And because you watched all the way to the end, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Come on, you know you want to. I just started this channel, and I'm going to be making the best SpongeBob content for you. Let's get it.